So I'm listening to my last show, and I keep hearing this weird noise in the background, like Darth Vader is sitting next to me. Turns out it was my dog sleeping. Lucky he wasn't doing his sleep whimpers, because sometimes those turn into sleep cries, and that gets really loud. My pronunciation and acoustics are bad enough without little Otis adding to the soundtrack. I should just wake him up when I do these shows, but the flies outside are brutal. I could just hit the pause button and go over and kick him. Problem is, he falls right back to sleep. I get tired of getting up out of my chair and walking over there and keep kicking him. Besides, if you know anything about pit bulls, they consider that attention and affection. And if he's awake, he'll start licking his paws, and that gets loud too. Give him a toy, and he'll find a way to make that noisy too. So from now on, when I record, I'll just play it by ear. Hey, you know where you're at? You're on top of a mountain, 3,000 feet up, looking down. And you're going to look at a book that was held by legend, signed by heroes. So let's go. Alfonso Ramon Lopez, nickname El Senor, catcher, Hall of Fame manager, MLB debut 1928. This Tampa Bay native started his career in 1924 at the age of 16. His big break came in the winter of 1925 during a barnstorming exhibition tour. Al would catch for the legend himself, Hall of Fame pitcher Walter Johnson, who then suggested to the Washington Senators that they use the teenager as a practice catcher in the spring training. The Senators offered $1,000 to Al's team, the Tampa Smokers. They wanted $10,000. The Senators passed on an unproven youngster. But 3 years later, Al would make his big league debut and begin his MLB record of career games at catcher that would be 1,918, an MLB record that stood for over 40 years. He was a two-time All-Star and retired after the 1947 season. A few months later, Indians owner Sport Shirt Bill Veeck offered Al Lou Boudreau's job, who was the team's player manager. Al Lopez declined the job offer. Lou was his friend. He would become the Indians manager in 1951. His winning percentage as a big league manager is 9th best all-time in MLB history. He's Cleveland Indians' winningest manager, Chicago White Sox' second winningest manager. Never had a losing record in 15 seasons as a big league skipper. His 1954 Indians and his 1959 White Sox were the only teams to break up the Yankees' pennant runs between 1949 and 1964. So it's towards the end of the 1956 season. Third baseman Al Rosen is in a slump, struggling with injuries. Indians manager Al Lopez was upset with the front office for not supporting the injured third baseman. He was also upset with the fans for booing Rosen. Al Lopez was so upset by the way his third baseman was treated by everybody, he quit before the last game of the season. A month later, he took over as Chicago White Sox manager, and 2 years later, they were in the World Series. Never one to lose his cool, give rah-rah speeches, or yell at his players. Instead, he gave constructive criticism. Tough on you, yes, but could bring out your best. They all said that. He knew every facet of the game and was smarter than most managers. Sport Shirt Bill said Al Lopez was too decent. Al took that as a compliment. He would suffer with insomnia and stomach ailments throughout his managerial career, finally forcing him to retire from baseball. You can't go anywhere in Tampa without seeing his name. Al lived long enough to see his 2005 White Sox win a World Series for the first time in 88 years. He died of a heart attack 4 days later. It was their first pennant since he was their manager back in 1959. He would live a long, full life and passed away at the age of 97. Legendary baseball manager Al Lopez was inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in 1977.